Georgia State versus Ole Miss. Georgia State, 0-0-0-0 Sun Belt, will be trying to bounce back from its worst season since 2014, when it kicks off the 2025 season with a visit to Vaught-Hemingway Stadium on Saturday night to face number 21 Ole Miss, 0-0-0-0 SEC. The Panthers finished the 2024 season with a 3-9 record, which was the second worst in the Sun Belt. The Rebels finished with a 10-3 record, which was 8th in the SEC. This will be the first meeting between the two teams. The Panthers won only 3 games last season, after making a bowl appearance in 4 of their previous 5 seasons. With head coach Del McGee entering his second season, they are hoping he will turn the program around and get them back into bowl contention. Georgia State averaged 23.8 points per game last season, which was 90th in the country. They threw for 257.4 yards per game, which was 35th in the nation, and rushed for 131.5 yards per game, which was 91st. The Panthers improved their offensive line, bringing in players like Charlie Patterson and Darrell Bailey, but they lost their leading rusher, who left for Oklahoma State. They added former Ole Miss running back Rashad Amos and former Georgia running back Branson Robinson. Defensively, the Panthers weren't very good, with the team giving up 35 points per game, which was 116th in the country. They brought in former East Carolina defensive back Jordan Huff and former Auburn defensive back Tyler Scott. They also have some promising talent in players like Josiah Robinson and expect to be better than they were last season. The Rebels won 10 games last season, which was their third 10-win season in 4 years. Even though they lost 14 starters from last year's team, head coach Lane Kiffin's team is loaded with talent and feels they will be good enough to contend for a college football playoff spot. Ole Miss averaged 35.5 points per game last season, which was 10th in the nation. They threw for 336 yards, which was 3rd in the country, and rushed for 170.2 yards per game, which was 47th. Austin Simmons is the projected starter for the Rebels this season, taking over for Jackson Dart, who was taken by the New York Giants in the NFL Draft. He completed 59.4% of his passes for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns in limited action last season. Ole Miss had the 4th best scoring defense in the country last season, giving up 15.6 points per game. Even though they lost all but one of their defensive linemen, who accounted for a school record 52 sacks last season, they have a lot of highly touted players from their 2024 recruiting class who are ready to make their own mark. The Rebels played under the total in 3 of their last 4 games, while the Panthers played under the total in 2 of their last 4 games. Ole Miss averaged 35.5 points per game last season. They ran the ball 53% of the time and gained more than 170 yards per game. They are facing a team that was 127th against the run and gave up 35 points per game, so expect them to score at least 30 points in this game. The Panthers averaged 23.8 points per game. They threw the ball 57% of the time and gained more than 257 yards per game. They are facing a team that was 91st against the pass and held opponents to 15.6 points per game. The Rebels had one of the best offenses in the country last season and did most of their damage through the air, relying on a high-powered passing attack to create explosive plays. With Kiffin breaking in an inexperienced quarterback, however, expect the Rebels to rely more heavily on the ground game in this matchup. They're going up against a defense that gave up more than 220 rushing yards per game last season, which presents a prime opportunity to establish the run early. By leaning on their rushing attack, the Rebels can take pressure off the young quarterback, control the clock, and exploit the defensive weaknesses up the middle to set up more manageable passing situations later in the game. The Panthers have struggled mightily on offense, ranking among the worst in the country, and their production has come almost exclusively through the air. While improvements to their offensive line have helped in pass protection, the ground game remains virtually non-existent. They now face a Rebels defense that led the nation in run stopping, which will neutralize any attempts to establish a rushing attack. With the Panthers forced into obvious passing situations, the Rebels can bring consistent pressure on the quarterback, increasing the likelihood of hurried throws, sacks, and turnovers. This defensive dominance is likely to translate into short fields and easy scoring opportunities for the Rebels, putting immense stress on the Panthers' offense and making it difficult for them to sustain drives or keep pace in a high-pressure game. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Ole Miss Rebels minus 34.5. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Rice versus Louisiana. It's a battle between two high-profile group of 5 schools on Saturday, August. The Owls are coming off of a 4-8 season in the American Athletic Conference as they try to push towards bowl eligibility this year. The Cajuns enjoyed a 10-4 record in the Sun Belt, which culminated in a bowl defeat to TCU. The two teams will hope for a big non-conference win in this matchup to start their season on the right foot. Rice enters the new season with middle-of-the-road projections in the American Athletic Conference. The Owls fighting for a bowl bid this year would be great business for a team that went 4-8 and 3-5 in AAC play last year. The Owls were winless on the road in 2024, going 0-6. Coming into this new year, Rice was picked number 10 in the AAC's media poll, which involves all 14 conference teams. Chase Jenkins is the starting quarterback for Rice this year. It's been an interesting road for the junior signal caller. He made 5 appearances at quarterback during his freshman season, but this will be his first career start. He did not play quarterback last year as he transitioned over to wide receiver. But a change in Rice's offensive scheme has helped Jenkins win the job. The offense is now being moved to an option style with new head coach Scott Abel changing things in his first year. Abel arrives to Houston from Davidson, where he was the head coach there from 2018 to 2024 as he collected a 47-28 record with the Wildcats. Thanks to Abel's new scheme, the running back position is so important. Quentin Jackson will be one to watch for the Owls. He rushed for 275 yards and 1 touchdown. He's incredibly multiple. He's a guy that can get on the edge. He can be involved in the passing game, and he can be a downhill guy. And man, that's a really nice thing for any offense. He brings a lot of tools to that unit. Now, how do we utilize all those tools to make everything around him execute on a high level? Abel said about Jackson this week. While the offense has seen many new players come and go this year, the defense is returning more regular players. Blake Bonish highlights the defense at tackle. He finished with career highs in tackles with 42 and tackles for a loss with 4. The defense only secured 8 picks and forced just 4 fumble recovers last year, which was some of the worst in the country. Rice was 5-6-1 against the spread last year. They were 1-4-1 against the spread when playing at home and 4-3-1 against the spread as an underdog. It was a big season for Louisiana last season. They ended with a 10-4 record, but back-to-back losses to end the campaign give it a bittersweet note. The Cajuns lost the Sun Belt Conference Championship 31-3 to Marshall and followed it with a 34-3 defeat to TCU in the New Mexico Bowl. This year, they are hoping to get back to the conference championship and push for a big-time bowl game. The Ragin' Cajuns will have a new quarterback with Ben Wooldridge graduating and leaving for the NFL. Last week, Louisiana announced Walker Howard as the new signal caller. Howard started his career at LSU and has followed it with 2 seasons at Ole Miss. The junior has thrown no more than 4 passes per season across his career. The perennial backup player will be making his first start ever against Rice. You don't have to do anything more or less than what you do every day because we have good people around him, Louisiana head coach Michael Desormeaux said. He just needs to go do his job, no more, no less, and have fun doing it. That's what we've been harping on with Walker. He had a good day Sunday, and he's working hard to prepare to go out there and give his team a chance to win. The ball won't be in Howard's throughout the game. The rushing attack is expected to be key for the Cajuns this season. They have 2 strong running backs with Bill Davis and Zylan Perry. They both led the team in rushing last season and return expecting to have another big season. Davis rushed for 796 yards and 9 touchdowns, while Perry added 695 yards and 4 scores. Louisiana lost their top 3 receiving targets from last year to graduation or the transfer portal. On defense, Louisiana will be led by Jordan Lawson and Jaden Duggar. Lawson is the top returning tackler on the team with 44. He did lead the entire roster with 5.5 sacks. Duggar added 37 tackles too. Last season, Louisiana was 7-7 against the spread. They were 2-4 against the spread when they played at home. The Rajin Cajuns were also 2-3 against the spread as a double-digit favorite. Both Louisiana and Rice feature new starting quarterbacks. The Rajin Cajuns will rely on their running game with top starters back, while the Owls will focus on their option-style offense. Expect a slow-paced game with few big plays. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns minus 11.5. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Hawaii versus Arizona. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors 1-0 visit the desert Southwest to play the Arizona Wildcats, who will be playing their opening game of the season. The Rainbow Warriors opened their regular season in Week 0 with a 23-20 victory over the Stanford Cardinal. Last season, Arizona finished 4-8 overall and 2-7 in its inaugural season in the Big 12. Hawaii's quarterback Micah Alejado is probable. Arizona does not have any players on its injury report. Get ready with our free NCAAF picks for Hawaii Rainbow Warriors versus Arizona Wildcats prediction and stay ahead of the game. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors opened their regular season with a 23-20 victory over Stanford. Hawaii gained 306 yards of total offense and held Stanford to 286 yards. Hawaii converted just 3 of its 10 third downs and was 0 for 1 on 4th down. The Rainbow Warriors utilized their time of possession wisely. Hawaii held the ball for just 23 minutes, 53 seconds, while Stanford had possession for 36 minutes, 7 seconds. Micah Alejado passed for 201 yards and a pair of touchdowns, but was sacked 4 times. Cam Barfield led all rushers for Hawaii with 45 yards, and Alejado gained 36 yards on the ground. 8 receivers caught at least 1 pass through the first game. Pofel Ashlock leads all receivers with 9 receptions for 69 yards and 1 touchdown. Jackson Harris caught 6 passes for 59 yards and 1 touchdown. Peter Manuma leads all tacklers with 8. Kilianhi Mendiola Jensen has 1 interception. Manuma has Hawaii's only quarterback sack. The Arizona Wildcats will be playing their 3rd season under head coach Brent Brennan and their 1st under new offensive coordinator Seth Doege. Arizona quarterback Noah Fifita returns. In 2023, Fifita had a breakout season, while last season threw for more yards, but doubled his number of interceptions to 12. Arizona signed transfer Ismail Mahdi as its lead running back. Over the past 2 seasons, Mahdi has rushed for more than 2,300 yards and 14 touchdowns, while with the Texas State Bobcats. Mandy also caught 44 passes with Texas State. At wide receiver, Chris Hunter is back. Last season, Hunter had 323 yards and 3 touchdowns. Arizona's defense performed poorly in 2024, allowing an average of 413 yards and nearly 32 points per game. Danny Gonzalez has moved from being the linebackers coach to the defensive coordinator. The overhaul of the defense began at cornerback with Michael Dansby joining from San Jose State, Javion Cole arriving from Texas, and Aiden Garner joining from West Virginia. Dalton Johnson is a hard-hitting safety who totaled 94 tackles last season, showcasing his ability to patrol the field and disrupt both the run and passing game. The linebacker core is anchored by the return of Tay Brown, who brings leadership and sideline-to-sideline range, while transfer Max Harris from Texas State adds depth and experience to the interior. On the defensive line, Trey Smith returns at one end, providing consistency and veteran presence, while Dominic Lolicio, along with pass rushers Chancellor Owens from Northwestern State and Malachi Bailey from Alcorn State, create a formidable front that can pressure quarterbacks and collapse pockets. With this mix of experience, talent, and athleticism, the Wildcats' defense is well positioned to control the line of scrimmage, force turnovers, and give the team a chance to win even when the offense struggles, making them a balanced and dangerous unit overall. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors will likely not win straight up on Saturday when visiting the Arizona Wildcats, but they should play well enough on both sides of the ball to cover the spread. Hawaii opened the season with a narrow 23-20 victory over Stanford, showcasing an offense capable of sustaining drives and making timely plays. Micah Alejado demonstrated poise under center, but the Rainbow Warriors struggled with time of possession, holding the ball for just over 23 minutes, which will need to improve against a tougher opponent like Arizona. The Wildcats return plenty of talent on offense, led by quarterback Noah Fifita, who has shown the ability to make plays both in the air and on the ground. Defensively, Arizona has revamped its secondary with several key transfers, shoring up what was one of the worst pass defenses in the country last season, when the Wildcats allowed nearly 32 points per game. Hawaii will need to execute crisp route combinations, protect the football, and sustain longer drives to keep Arizona's offense off the field. While the Rainbow Warriors have the speed and athleticism to force stops and create turnovers, Hawaii's ability to cover depends on controlling the clock and limiting big plays, as Arizona can quickly turn short drives into scores. With disciplined tempo, Hawaii should stay close and cover, even if an outright upset is unlikely. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Hawaii Rainbow Warriors plus 17.5. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Colorado State versus Washington. The Colorado State Rams, 0-0-0-0 ATS, 0-0 OU, meet the Washington Huskies, 0-0, 0-0 ATS, 0-0 OU, in the season opener on Saturday evening, and the Rams posted an 8-5 record last season. The Huskies issued a 6-8 mark. The Colorado State Rams enter the season with some key returnees, but also lost an abundance of talent due to graduation and transfers. Last season was a success, posting an 8-5 record, including a 6-1 mark in conference play. Another 8 wins this season will be a daunting task. Colorado State earned wins against New Mexico and Wyoming last season. The Rams were marked 9th in the preseason poll chosen by the media. Colorado State has a proven quarterback in Braden Fowler Nicolosi. The junior quarterback came through with several big performances in 2024. He reached 250 passing yards on 5 occasions. He is prone to throwing picks. Fowler Nicolosi recorded 2,796 passing yards and a 14-9 touchdown-to-interception ratio last season. The offense lost its top rusher from last season, but is expecting a big season from Justin Marshall. The sophomore running back did not play a ton in the second half of the season. He managed to rush for 746 yards on the season. The receiving group could be a weakness. Most of the top receivers on last year's squad transferred. Armani Winfield is the leading returning wide receiver with 341 yards last season. CSU brought in Kojo Antwi in a transfer from Ohio State. The junior wide receiver made just 1 catch last season. The CSU offense averaged 387 yards per game last season. The Rams' defense was decent last year. In the offseason, the Rams hired a new defensive coordinator in Tyson Summers. The Rams were decimated with transfers in the offseason, losing their top linebackers, including the tackling and sack leader. Defensive back Aiden Hector is back after making 40 tackles last season. The Rams squandered an average of 395 yards per game last season. Last season, Colorado State averaged 24.4 points, ranking them 95th. The Rams squandered an average of 25.8 points, placing them 75th. The Washington Huskies enter more of a rebuilding season, but they could be a surprise if the offense improves as expected. The program won just 6 games last year and lost in its bowl game. They netted a 4-5 mark in conference action. Washington had a daunting schedule last year and managed an upset win against number 10 Michigan. They were hit with losses against Penn State and Oregon. The Huskies are ranked 11th in a power rankings poll chosen by ESPN. Washington is optimistic they can receive production at quarterback despite the graduation of Will Rogers. They have a promising quarterback in Demond Williams Jr., who appears ready to lead the offense. The sophomore QB posted 374 yards in the bowl game against Louisville and netted 974 passing yards with just 1 INT last season. The Washington running game is also in a great spot, propelled by Jonah Coleman. The senior running back is one of the best in the Big Ten. Coleman registered 1,053 rushing yards on an average of 5.5 yards per rush. Washington lost their receiving leader, but Denzel Washington was outstanding last season and could reach 1,000 yards. The junior wide receiver netted 834 receiving yards in 2024. Washington also brought in Omari Evans from Penn State. He amassed 415 yards. They averaged 390 yards per game last year. The Huskies' defense is decent. They have a new defensive coordinator in Ryan Walters. They attracted several established players via transfers. This includes Tacario Davis, who broke up 6 passes last season. Ephesians Prysock is back after making 32 tackles. The pass rush was weak last season, but they are hoping the transfers will help. Last season, the Huskies kept opponents to an average of 325 yards per game. Washington scored an average of 23.4 points last season, rating them 104th. The Huskies' defense was strong, conceding an average of 23.8 points, good for 54th. The Colorado State Rams are going to be a competitive group this season. This is a squad that went 8-5 last season and dropped just 1 conference game. They returned quarterback Fowler Nicolosi, who posted 2,796 passing yards last season. The Washington State Huskies no longer have quarterback Will Rogers. While new number 1 Demond Williams Jr. is a promising young quarterback, he only started in 3 games in 2024. Furthermore, Colorado State has a solid running back in Justin Marshall. He netted 746 rushing yards last year. This is key when considering the Huskies were pegged 87th against the pass last season. Moreover, the Huskies lost a ton of key pieces to the defensive unit. The Huskies had their top 2 linebackers depart, along with their top pass rusher. This spread is too big at 22 points. This is a steep ask from a Huskies team with so many new defensive players and a new defensive coordinator, making it difficult to contain a high-powered offense. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Colorado State Rams plus 22.5. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box.